ميسا ناس أنت جطرايا.
Welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of the Syrian Civil War conflict series I have on this channel. Today we're going to be looking at not so much the ground stuff. I'm going to go through that. But the major change we have today is politically, and it's actually like some of the biggest news we've seen in the last year, especially in regards to the Syrian regime. And also, I saw a couple comments yesterday. I appreciate your input, but they were criticizing my opinion on the Assad government as being a regime. So I want to defend that real quick. A regime is an authoritarian government. The person that I know that lives in Aleppo, she was talking about how, Assad is letting us celebrate Newroz this year. To me, I'm like, okay, that's awesome, and she's like all happy about it, but that's authoritarian. The fact that he can tell Kurds, oh, you can celebrate this, that's just weird. At least coming from the US, where everybody can just do whatever they want, religiously, culturally. The fact that a president can go and say, oh, you can't celebrate that, that's a little sketchy. But anyway, let's get back on track. We're going to start where we always do. I'm going to go through the ground stuff, and I'm going to explain the political situation as well. Tal Rafat, artillery bombardments. What did I say yesterday? It's normal. Not much new there. But one point I want to make is yesterday we saw there was a shaheed from the YPG, and they said that he was in Aleppo. I believe that he was probably in the southern area, just that little leg that I was talking about in Tal Rafat. They say that he died from a sickness. I'm calling BS, because if you know anything from my channel, I talk about how there was a comrade that I had in the YPG International that, he killed himself, but they covered it up as a car accident. I think, sickness overcame him in northern Aleppo right when there's an invasion happening. I think that there's probably YPG, at least on some sort of border out over there, and they're defending it. So I would assume that he probably died from combat, but the YPG didn't want to publicly state that just yet because they know how powerful of a political statement that is. That being said, let's go into the politics. We heard also, and I want to quote, a Kurdish representative, apparently a senior Kurdish representative, saying this: Turkey is our main adversary. We will fight with Russia and the SAA against the Turkish invaders and terrorists. And if the U.S. tries to encroach on our territories, we will be ready for war and against them. Yeah, this is the big news, right? Are they against the U.S.? No. Are they planning to be against the U.S.? No. But if the U.S. decides to side with Turkey against the regime in Idlib, they're going to be going against Kurdish interests now. That's what they stated right there. Big news politically. It means that the Assad regime with the YPG will probably work together in Rojava and try and get those cities that I was talking about months ago, Gyaraspi, Serikani, and everything in between. Big news. We're going to see what happens this year. I think Idlib is going to fall here shortly. But yeah, let's look at the ground invasion. We do have a little bit of a halt, but not much. Let's explain it. So, Aleppo, yesterday we saw massive ground change. Today we don't see any skirmishes, at least documented. But what we do see is continuing of bombardments in an area where I suspect they're going to be moving next, which is going to be in that north area, try and cut off this Idlib section from the Afrin region, which is the little border that you see right there. As we continue down, we see, again, more bombardments on that little area next to Sarakib, and maybe they're going to take the northern part of Idlib first, surround Murat al-Numan, and just that area west of that, those mountains that I was talking about. So, military change, not a whole lot. But we do have another political change, which is in regards to Turkey and the HTS. HTS being al-Nusra, it's an al-Qaeda offshoot, and they're the rebels that are in this Idlib province. Now today, Turkey has asked the HTS, if you want to dissolve and become part of the FSA as our fourth corps, the FSA being in Afrin, you can do that. You can become our fourth corps. I mean, this is pretty much them publicly saying, which the Kurds always knew, which pretty much anybody that's looked into this knew, they're jihadists. The FSA are jihadists, and this is just going on with that. So HTS have denied this request. They have said, no, we don't want to do that. We're going to continue to have volunteers. If you want to join, you can join. So if any guys are trying to join anything, you can join the YPG or you can join HTS. No, I'm kidding. Oh God, I'm going to get the FBI knocking on my van door here pretty shortly. Let's finish this video up. FBI, open up! So politically, I mean, that's a big move. Obviously, we see Turkey, they're backing jihadists. We see the Assad regime trying to destroy them. The Assad regime siding with the YPG now. And at the end of the day, that's what we all knew. 4 months ago, when the U.S. backed out of Rojava and we saw that stuff, the SAA and Russia came straight in there and they helped out the YPG. We knew that this was going to be an alliance. We knew that the future of Rojava and the future of Syria as a whole is going to have two autonomous parts, which is the YPG and Assad, and they're going to work together. How long will it be until all the rebels are gone? Who knows? Let's not get carried away with speculation, though. Let's continue on to Manbij. What do we see in Manbij? We see some infrastructure in those villages bombarded yesterday. That infrastructure was destroyed. It's kind of sad. I mean, these are just civilians caught in the crossfire, just in some makeshift lines that were drawn on a map or forged in blood. Well, these lines are right where their village is, and now they're being bombarded. So it's kind of sad, these borders. And it looks like about 1 million refugees are coming from this Idlib conflict, and they're not just going to Aleppo and Syria land, but they're also going to Manbij. And so, I mean, that's quite a ways. It's still west of the Euphrates River, but regardless. As we move east of the Euphrates River into mainland Rojava, we see some artillery bombardments of Ain Issa, which I would say is kind of important. I mean, it's normal for the Turks to go and bomb this area, but in the wake of Russia doing that huge movement in Idlib, I think that's Turkey's way of saying, hey, we're not done with you yet, Russia. And also, I think I skipped over something. If we go back to Aleppo real quick, we see just some more Turkish outposts being made next to Sarakib, mostly in Idlib. This is normal. Turkey, whenever their outposts get overrun by the SAA, and the SAA just run past them, like I said yesterday, they make new ones, and they're making them near Sarakib. Again, back to Rojava, we don't see any news in the northern area, but in Deir ez-Zor, we do see some training, live fire events by the U.S. forces, training pretty much the special forces of the YPG and the SDF as a whole, Syrian Democratic Forces. So they are continually training them, they're continually supporting them. We've seen reports in the past week about the U.S. giving them arms and munitions and weapons, just like Turkey's giving the HTS weapons and armored vehicles and stuff. So everybody right now is just trying to fund their groups and see how it plays out. The U.S. is trying not to be too involved, though, only in the Deir ez-Zor region and a little bit in the Derek region up in the north, but not a whole lot. But anyway, guys, that is it for today. I will be here tomorrow, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it. If you didn't, dislike's fine as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to be doing this video series for a long time, so thank you for tuning in, as always, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.